Hey everybody, it's Christopher here with 3DO Gaming, and today I am here with the Anbernic RG353P, and I'm going to go through and going to show off the pre-installed games on this device. Now this device is a very nice device, I've enjoyed it. It does have a Super Nintendo controller look and feel, but it's a fun system to have. It's one of the newer systems out. So I'm going to go through and just show the games that are pre-installed on this one. I'll put a link in the description where you can buy this device. And if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about it, be sure to let me know in the comments below. You can find me here, of course, with videos every day. Or you can catch me on Twitter at 3DO Gaming or on my website, 3DOgaming.com. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is the default operating system in here. I have not changed anything on here. I've not added games, deleted games, or anything. This is still just like you would get it out of the box. So, starting off with the Nintendo Entertainment System, the good old NES or Famicom, if you are over in Japan. They do come pre-installed. On the bottom here, it'll tell you how many games. 693 NES games on here. So let's go ahead and take a look. So, Contra, Double Dragons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, of course. Kirby's Adventure, Ikari Warriors, Castlevania, Adventure Island games. $693 games on here, so I'm gonna have to go through it a little fast. But if you guys have any questions, when you check out any game specifically there, you can leave me a message below. Clash of Demon Head right there. Love that game. Dragon Spirit. Karate Champ, that's one of the first Nintendo games that I ever played. Legendary Wings, good game. Predator. Simpsons games are on here. Coming up to the last few. Wacky Races. The bottom ones here are some Japanese games itself. And there we go. Alright, next up is the Game Boy. 208 games from the Game Boy on the device. So let's go ahead and take a look at those games. Get your Mega Mans, Castlevania, Final Fantasy Legends, Final Fantasy Adventure. You got good old Legend of Zelda. Great game to play. Kid Icarus, Harvest Moon, Kirby's Dream Land. Battle Arena Toshinden, one of the better fighting games on the system. FIFA Soccer. Here, Mortal Kombat's here, which are... There's only, I think, one that came actually for the system, so the other ones are modified games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games on there. Tecmo Bowl, Jungle Book, Little Mermaid, Flintstones, Wave Race, good game to play. And that's all for Game Boy. Going back out, we're going to go next to the Super Nintendo system. 1,100 games on here. So that now puts us at just under 2,000 games on the system. So let's go over this a little bit here. Battletoads, Double Dragon, Big Hurt Baseball, Breath of Fire 1 and 2, Doom, there we go. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, NBA Hang Time, NBA Jam. Yeah, over 1,100 games here on Super Nintendo, so great variety. Sailor Moon, you got some Japanese games on here too. SimCities, Spawn, that's Super Bomberman, Super F1, Super Jedi, Japan, don't know what that is. Super HQ, Super Ninja Boy. I love that Super Nintendo had so many super games. Super Virtual Boxing, Tecmo Super Bowl, Flintstones, Top Gear, Tom and Jerry, Ultima, Ultraman, Virtual Bar, Wheel of Fortune, Weapon Lord. Whole bunch of games on here, guys. Look at these. And we are done. Super Nintendo, 1,103 games on there. Now moving over to the N64. 6. It's only a drop of 1,100. You got Carnivore Dinosaur Hunter, otherwise known as Turok. Castlevania, Doom 64, F-Zero X, Star Fox, and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Game Boy Color, 174 games on there. So let's go ahead and open that up. Starting off with the Game Boy Colors, Pokemon, Gold, Silver, Yellow, Crystal, Pinball Puzzle Challenge, and the Trading Card Game. You got Donkey Kong Country, Dragon Warriors, your Harvest Moon games, Bomberman games, Looney Tunes Racing, and then we get into alphabetical order. Croc 1 and 2, that's a series that has gone away. Dinosaur, I think, is either the Disney movie. Was it Disney that did Dinosaur? I don't know. Cartoon movie. Godzilla, Ghosts and Goblins, Grand Theft Auto, Lego Racers, Lufia. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3. Turok 2 and 3. WWF WrestleMania 2000. Yar's Revenge. And that is it. So let's back out. We are moving on to the next Game Boy Advance. 397 games. Game Boy Advance, great system. One that I did not play much when it actually was out, so I've enjoyed going back and exploring the Game Boy Advance games. And it's almost like Anbernic knows what you guys want to see. So starting off again with the Pokemon games. Pokemon Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Mystery Dungeon. games that I really love here. You got your Kirby's Now, Nightmare in Dreamland, and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Sonic Advance. Sonic is now showing up on Nintendo games, starting with Game Boy Advance. Donkey Kong Countries, Crash, Street Fighter games, Harvest Moon, Castlevanias, Legend of Zelda's. You got a couple of them on here. Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Love Final Fantasy 1, one of my favorite games of all time. Tactics, phenomenal game. And you got 4, 5, and 6 for Final Fantasy. Rayman Advance. Duke Nukem Advance. Advance Wars. Great series. I'm glad that it is finally coming back. They will be bringing a new Advance Wars on the Switch. Shining Soul. So Game Boy Advance just has a lot of great games. Shining Force right down there. Phantasy Star Collection. Pokemon Chaos Black, Crystal, Darkrai, Lugia's Ocean, and Shiny Gold. I believe these are modified games, or modified ROMs. But you can correct me if I am wrong. I am not a big Pokemon fan, so I can honestly say that I've never played any of the Game Boy Advance ones. Don't shoot me. Crazy Taxi, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Dragon Ball games, Fire Pro Wrestling 1 and 2, Need for Speed, Pac-Man World, Star Wars games, Episode 2, Episode 3, Trilogy, Jedi Power Battles, Tony Hawk's Underground, and Pro Skater 4, American Skateland, a couple X-Men games, and your Yu-Gi-Oh games. And that will finish it off for the Game Boy Advance. So now we're well over 2,000 games on the device. Nintendo DS, 23 games. Aliens Infestation, Animal Crossing, Bakugan, Barbie. A couple Ben 10 games, unique choices, I should say. Camping Mama, to go along with Cooking Mama. Cars, Diddy Kong Racing, FIFA Soccer. Gardening Mama. Kung Fu Panda 2, Lego Star Wars 2, Need for Speed Underground 2. A trio of Nintendo games. You got Pokemon Dash, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Power Rangers Samurai, Super Princess Peach, The Amazing Spider-Man, and Transformers Dark Side of the Moon. And your open bore, 9 games on here. You got Bare Knuckles, Streets of Rage, Castlevania, Contra, Final Fight 3, Double Dragon, Return of Double Dragon, and a couple Street Fighters. Settings, you're not going to find any games in there, so I will... 7 games. Not games, though. The good old Sega Master System, 197 titles on here. Some Sonic games that came out for it, Streets of Rage games. Oh, wrong button, sorry. Forgotten Worlds, love that game. But we'll see if we have it on the Genesis. I'd much rather play it on there. Baku Baku Animals. Daffy Duck in Hollywood. Let's go Home Alone. Lord of the Sword. Rambo games. And that will be it for the Sega Master System. Next up, the Sega Mega Drive, or otherwise known as the Sega Genesis. Let me see, how many games did it say on there? 634 16-bit greatness. You have your Sonic 1, 2, and 3, 3D Blast, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic & Knuckles 2, which did not ever come out unless these are modified from the originals. Don't know what Sonic Game Heroes is either. Alright, here we go. Mortal Kombat's 1, 2, 3, and of course the ever-elusive Mortal Kombat 5, which isn't a real game. It's something else. Virtual Fighter versus Taken 2. I'll give you a guess that was a modified game. Animaniacs. There you go. Forgotten Worlds. Just as we saw in the Master System, here it is available for the Sega Genesis. If you've never played Forgotten Worlds, I do highly recommend Forgotten Worlds. Gunstar Heroes. Batman Returns. Battletoads. Let's see, you got your Ghouls and Ghosts, Dark Castle, Michael Jackson Moonwalker. Phenomenal game. Love that game. Still have it. The original one. Let's see what else we got. We got the Game of Risk. Or you can step into some Uncharted Waters. Valis 3. Which, if you're a fan of Valis, there's been a little resurgence with Valis. Limited Run Games has been, I don't know if it's still available, but they did have the game available there. And another retro company has it coming out. I'm trying to remember which one it was. But do take a look at that if you're interested in Valis. You got your Double Dragons here, Earthworm Jim. Some of my favorite games are Phantasy Stars. But Phantasy Star 4 is not there. Streets Rage 2 and 3. Shining Force. Gotta love the Shining Force games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Duke Nukem. Splatterhouse. Bare Knuckle, which is your Streets Rage. Japanese versions are known as Bare Knuckle. Echo the Dolphin. Another series that's kind of disappeared. I think the last one was a PlayStation 2, I believe. Samurai Showdown. One of my favorite fighting series of all time. Vector Man. That's a Genesis series that has been forgotten. Sailor Moon. And then we got Doom Troopers, Fatal Fury, Frogger, Harry Potter, Mutant League Hockey and Football, Microsoft games, Ren and Stimpy, Primal Rage. I'm a sucker for Primal Rage. I know it's not a great game, but I enjoy it. Chuck Rock 1 and 2. Some NHL games. T2, the arcade game. There's Valis, Virtual Bart, Cannon Fodder. Cannon Fodder, phenomenal game to play. If you've never tried Cannon Fodder, give it a look. It is available on a ton of systems, including the 3DO, Atari Jaguar, here the Mega Drive, and a bunch of others. I do recommend giving a look at Cannon Fodder. NBA Hang Time, fun game to play, similar to the NBA Jam series. There's Wacky Races again. Brutal Paws of Fury. What did I just do? I just messed everything up. There you go. Brutal Paws of Fury. Not a great game at all. But Brutal Paws of Fury was one of the games as a kid that I loved the look and feel of it. Was very excited about it when it came out. Just wish it was as good now as I thought it was back then. Super Off-Road, some Tecmo Bowl. World Series Baseball 98. Some of the best baseball games ever made by Sega. And that'll do it for Mega Drive. Now moving over to the Sega Game Gear. The Sega handheld that I love. One of my favorite handhelds of all time. I don't care what anyone says. Far superior to the Game Boy. Other than the complete need of a backpack full of batteries if you ever wanted to use this on the go. So the Sonic games are on here. Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat, Samurai Spirits, which is Samurai Showdown in Japan, Gunstar Heroes, Battletoads, Lucky Dime Caper with Donald Duck? Yep. Mickey Mouse games, Shining Force games, Aladdin, Earthworm Jim. Ton of games on here. And that'll do it with Game Gear. On to the Sega Dreamcast. You saw there's only 4 games on here. You have Crazy Taxi 2, Ikaruga, Sonic Adventure 2, and one of the best fighting games ever to come out, Soul Calibur. The NEOGEO, 143 games available on NEOGEO. You got a page full of King of Fighters. And then we're going to go through a page full of Metal Slugs, both of which great series. Definitely try them out if you haven't. There you go, Samurai Showdown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 special. Super Sidekicks 1, 2, and 3. Last Blade 1 and 2. World Heroes. World Heroes Perfect. Again, another game that I'll freely admit it's not the best fighting game in the world. I've always just loved it. 8-Man. Great game. I love it. If you've not seen the anime of 8-Man, if you're into Japanese animation, 8-Man is a great one. I love that one. It's 2020 Super Baseball. Puzzle Bobble series. And we're coming up to the end. There we go. So that is NEOGEO. Next up is the NEOGEO Pocket System. This handheld, I was actually working at KB Toys when this came out. Those of you that are old enough to even remember what KB Toys is. But this is a handheld that I loved. Did not get the support that I wish it got. But here we go. Metal Slug 1 and 2. First mission, second mission. Cool Borders. Gal Fighters. Their King of Fighters series. Last Blade. It did have a Sonic the Hedgehog game come out for it. And some SNK versus Capcom. And that's all. Did not have the biggest library, but it is a great handheld. On to the Sony PlayStation 1. 64 games available on the Anbernic RG353P. Capcom versus SNK. King of Fighters 99. ISS Pro Soccer. Dragon Ball GT. Crash Bandicoot series. Mortal Kombat, Spider-Man game, Rayman 2, Harvest Moon, Castlevania. Tomb Raider games 1 and 2 are available on here, and Twisted Metal 2. Now for the PlayStation Portable, you have 8 games pre-installed on the device. Balloons, which was one of their mini titles. Bomberman, Castlevania, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories, Mega Man, PES Soccer 2011, and Tekken 5 and 6. Total game list on this device, 4,470 games. So it comes with a lot. For Final Burn, 76 games available for that. Knights of Valor series, Bonk's Adventure, there we go. MAME, which are arcade games, you got 22 of them on here. Bad Dudes on here. There we go. Afterburner 2. Vertical Arcade games. 307 Vertical Arcade games. Side note with Vertical Arcade games, if you do like these, definitely take a look at the new Evercade handheld. The Evercade itself does have some vertical games coming out on it there, and the device will rotate, allowing you to play it that way. So I'll go through these a little fast. All right. Next on the list, WonderSwan Color, a Japanese handheld. Never made it stateside. This was a Bandai made system, so you'll see a lot of TV tie-in games out of Japan. 66 total on here. You do have Arc the Lad available on here. The Final Fantasy games did make it on the system. There's a One Piece game, Mobile Suit Gundam, Ultraman, and there we go. Terrors 2, horror game that's on the system. Capcom Play Systems, you do have 1, 2, and 3 on here. 64 for the Play System 1. You got your Street Fighter games, Alien vs. Predator, Knights of the Round, Forgotten Worlds once again, Shock Troopers, Warriors of Fate, Chase HQ, King of Dragons, Strikers 1945 Plus. Looking on the Play System 2, you were going to have 29 games gracing that system. You have your Marvel Superheroes, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men Children of the Atom, one of my favorite of this style game. I loved it. I had actually came out on the Sega Saturn. It was one of my favorite Saturn fighting games. You also have your Dungeons and Dragons, Darkstalkers, Night Warriors Revenge, your Vampire Hunter, Vampire Savior, and that'll be all for the Play System 2. And over on the Play System 3, you're going to have 4 games. Street Fighter 3, Second Impact, Third Strike, Red Earth, and Red Earth Warzard. MSX system, 10 games on here. And you can see them right there. 1942, Contra, Aliens, and that's about it. Screenshots, not going to have much there. And to finish us off, the PC Engine, otherwise known in America as the TurboGrafx 16. 59 games available on this device on the Anbernic RG353P. And I do thank you guys for following along in this video if you've made it this far. Again, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns on the device or any of the retro handhelds I've covered on here, feel free to let me know. Now on to the final system. PC Engine. Bomberman, Darkwing Duck, Jack Nicklaus Golf, and that will finish it. So again, on the device here, Anbernic RG353, 4,470 games available for you to play. Well, guys, that'll do it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave me a message below. Find me on Twitter at 3DO Gaming, and I will see you guys around later. Take care.